Alright, what's up YouTube? I want to react to some of the concerns about the coronavirus. A lot of people compare it to the flu, saying that the flu is so much worse, and we have to keep in mind certain contexts. For instance, the coronavirus had less than 1,000 cases just a few weeks ago. The flu has several months of a head start. You know, basically October, I believe, is when flu season starts. Influenza. So we have to keep that context in mind and then look at the numbers of how it goes from there. Now, I'm going to go through the stats, and we also need to keep in mind that not everyone who has had the flu has recovered, but even more so, even emphasize more than that, not everyone who has had the coronavirus has recovered. Most people the overwhelming majority of people who have had the flu have recovered. And that's not the case with the coronavirus. As well, we see that the flu has millions of people who have gotten it in the U.S., and that's over a few several months. But that's not the case with the coronavirus. We have not really peaked yet, and as you've seen in my videos, we're gaining roughly 20% per day outside of China, and confirmed cases roughly 20% each day. Every 24 hours it's going up, and confirmed cases and the death toll outside of China. I don't really emphasize the Chinese numbers too much because I think they're artificial, not very accurate. So with as the numbers go up for the confirmed cases, we'll see that the medication and health services get thinner and thinner the more people that we have. We've seen that in China, where there wasn't enough test kits, there wasn't enough available drugs and doctors and places to be seen. That's why they were building these crappy hospitals in like a week or 5 days or whatever, 8 days. So to compare the numbers so that we can actually factually see, hey, for people that mock the coronavirus and say, hey, it's not that bad, we need to worry more about the flu because this has killed X amount of people, we need to look at the numbers. So right now we know, this is according to the CDC, we have 29 million people in the U.S. who have gotten the flu this flu season from around October of 2019 to now. So 29 million people, that's 8.78% of the U.S. population. And I'm using the U.S. population for today, March 1st, with just over 330 million and 300,000 people. So 8.78% of the U.S. has gotten the flu this flu season. That has led to 280,000 hospitalizations for the flu, or 0.97% of people who have gotten the flu have had to go to the hospital for it. And of the 29 million people who have gotten the flu this flu season, roughly 19,000 people have died from it, according to the CDC. So that's 0.055% of the people who have gotten the flu have died from it this flu season in the U.S. Compare that to the stats from the coronavirus. So the World Health Organization and some other experts have said that the number of the percentage of the world population who can get the coronavirus will range from 60% to as high as 70, 75, or even 80%. So we'll go with the lowball number, suggesting that that's going to be a pandemic, and that's going to be 60% of the world population. So 60% of the number that I just said for the U.S. population, just suggesting that we're going to flatline it through all the world, meaning that it's going to be 60% for each country. Just very basic. So that'll be 198 million people in the U.S. with the number that I gave before, the 330,300,000 people. So that'll be 198 million people, which is 7.7 times the amount of people that have gotten the flu this flu season. So that's just something to think about. Beyond that, we see that the mortality rate in the world for the coronavirus is 3.42%. So 3.42%, that's the number of people who have died from the coronavirus compared to the number of confirmed cases. So that's that's 3.42% for the coronavirus versus 0.055% in the U.S. for the flu, this flu season. And this flu season's a little bit worse than usual in modern history, so keep that in mind for context. So 3.42% for the coronavirus, that's 62.18 times that of the flu in terms of the mortality rate between the coronavirus and the flu. And that's for the whole world for the coronavirus versus the flu in the U.S. So we also have to keep in mind that 47.85% have not recovered. That means that they have not died from the coronavirus, and 47.85% have not recovered, meaning that maybe a few more of those people will die from the coronavirus. And of course that's a whole world, so maybe we should use more context into maybe a country that's closer to the U.S. Let's go with Italy, because I want to use a country that has a lot of cases, so that we have a bigger set to evaluate these numbers. It's not going to be very fun to deal with a country that only has 10 cases, maybe one death. That's 10%, but it's not there's not as much of a reliability, I would assume, with such a standard. So with Italy, we have a mortality rate of 5.7 or 2.57% mortality rate in Italy. So that's 46.73 times that of the flu. So we have the flu at 0.055 mortality rate. In Italy, the coronavirus is 2.57. So that's 46.73 times that of the flu in terms of the mortality rate. And that's with the caveat that 95.81% of people in Italy who have gotten the coronavirus have not recovered. So of course, there could be a few more people who will get the coronavirus, or who have it and not recovered, meaning that they have not lost the coronavirus and they have not died. A few more of those people can die still, so keep that in mind for context. So when someone says that, hey, the flu is so much worse, the coronavirus is laughable, we've gotten over half a dozen cases in the last 24 hours in the U.S., and our first death in the U.S. in Seattle. I think Australia's gotten their first death in the last 24 hours, and then one more country. Was it Taiwan? I think it might have been Taiwan. They got their first death. Thailand. I think Taiwan and Thailand have deaths, but Thailand got their first death in the last 24 hours. So that's 3 new countries: Australia, U.S., and Thailand. I'm pretty sure. So it's still growing. We're just starting this, and we'll see where it goes from here. There's significant cases in the U.S. now of unknown origin, which is very scary. So when someone thinks it's laughable to say that, hey, the coronavirus is pretty significant, here's the flu stats. We'll dig into those numbers. What do we see? We see that one's far more deadlier, and that's with the caveats that a lot of people have not recovered from the coronavirus compared to a lot more compared to the flu, and the flu has had several months of a head start. A few weeks ago, the World Health Organization said that the coronavirus should peak sometime in April, with the caveat that still it could get up to 70, 75, even 80% of the world population might get it, because this spreads very quickly. So let me know what you think. If you think this is silly to worry about it, or if you think this is something that is deemed something that we should worry about in terms of the COVID-19, the coronavirus. Because we know that doctors in China died. The whistleblower, the doctor that basically blew the lid off this thing in China, he was 34 years old, he died. For instance, we know that it can hit people multiple times, meaning that people can get the coronavirus more than once. We've seen in Japan, I believe it was Japan, it wasn't Hong Kong, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Japan, just recently. And then, we've had our first case, someone in Washington, Seattle, Washington, King County, which I lived around that area for a while. So let me know what you think. All right, peace out.